And here we are. Hello, good time zone, everybody. Welcome to Horde of Tales. My name is Marcus, also known as the Chindividual. I am a pale Caucasian male with shoulder-long brown hair, a beard, glasses, and today also another round of flannel shirts on. And I am this group's game master slash chaos facilitator. And I am glad to have all these people here today again. Unfortunately, today we will be playing without Serial, who will be back next week, but we still have 3 people with us. And I just want to go around the table and give everyone a chance to introduce themselves and their characters. Starting today first with Ida.
Hello, I'm a ghost. My name is Ida. My pronouns are she and her. And there is currently a monochrome filter over me. But otherwise, I am a Latine femme with dark hair, and I'm wearing a light-colored turtleneck. I am playing Rayn, who is a Triton, meaning her skin is aqua green. She has finned ears and a curly mop of seaweed black hair. Her pronouns are she and her. She was a sorcerer whose soul is very inconveniently separated from her body at the moment. Whatever that means. Okay.
All right, thanks for having you here, whatever kind of corporeal or incorporeal state you might be in. Let's go next to Austin.
Hello, I'm Austin, pronouns he, they, and I'm a Caucasian person with a beard and hair who's getting a little out of control. I have a pink shirt and blue and pink headphones. I play Dythun, brown and black furred Leonin in bright, shining chainmail armor. I always feel like I'm forgetting something when I say this. Did I say it all? Did I forget something? I'm legitimately confused right now. I think I said everything.
You're good.
I think you're good. Yep.
I don't know why I
That was
always feel like I'm forgetting something.
I have the same
That was-
problem.
That was a proper introduction of both you and Dythun. Thanks for that. And last but most certainly not least, Caro.
Yeah, hi, I'm Caro, pronouns are she, they. I'm a white Caucasian femme with turquoise colored hair that is in dire need of recoloring. I'm wearing glasses. Today I'm wiping my black clothes again. Praise the day when I have some colored stuff on. And I will play Delphine, also pronounced she, they. She is a half elf with a long, wavy, bluish hair and a tricon hat on her head and like rocking the pirate style. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Caro. Thanks all for being here. As already mentioned, we're still in a plot in which the party is dealing with trying to bring Rayn back to the land of the living. And last session, they did already deal with a lot of that. We will continuing that as well. This also explains why for now we also have Ida on this monochrome filter to show this. And just for clarification, once we switch to our game overlay, there will be scenes where there will also be a picture in place where Ida is, signifying that there are scenes where Rayn is not available for that scene. However, we will be seeing Rayn during the session as we also find out more about what is happening while she is beyond the veil and while the party is trying to get her back. With that, how is everyone feeling today? How's the vibe?
Alive. Very alive.
Yeah, also alive and well.
I tried
Good.
to have a friend with me on the other side.
You tried. Look, if you do anything before we actually get the long rest, got one hit point. It could work.
Tempting words, Austin. Very tempting.
I have theory. No, but excited. And for players who didn't hear last week, as well as my video being blocked out, I also am not actively communicating or directing or suggesting or influencing the table either. I have my thing muted and my camera off, and I'm just as much an audience member as the rest of you.
Exactly. Yes. How about we slowly get to that then? How about we slowly see where this is going? But first, for everyone who might have just randomly picked a channel on Twitch, you are here at Horde of Tales, and you have found us on our Tuesday slot where we play Dungeons & Dragons. On Tuesdays, we play Convergence Manifesto, a campaign for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition created by Across Eberron. We are currently in Chapter 6, Knight's Gambit. And if you like these adventures, you can find all of them on the DM's Guild by looking for Convergence Manifesto. It is a total of a 13-part campaign, which takes place all over Corvair, the large continent in Eberron. So if you're looking for an adventure series that will introduce you to a lot of the vast setting of Eberron, Convergence Manifesto is your place to go. Our virtual tabletop of choice here is Foundry VTT, and in case you see any kind of battle maps popping up, they were probably made in Dungeon Draft by Mega Sploot. Overlay is made in-house by Carolyn, and our character art that you see on the overlay, on the tokens, and in other places is created by Serial and Caro together. The music we use here is by Dark Fantasy Studios, and we freaking love cats in this place, and that's why we have Catvantage. Now, how does Catvantage work? It's pretty straightforward. If you see a cat popping up on one of our camp feeds, you can use your channel points and give Catvantage to someone. Make sure that the someone you give it to does not already have one of these cute cats here. Like, I'm popping them up now. Like, Ida has one. Austin has one. Oh, wow, Caro also has one. If a player has this Catvantage, they can spend it on a roll to get advantage on the roll. Keep in mind that you have to mention which player you give your Catvantage to. If you don't mention who gets it, then it goes to the GM. If the GM already has Catvantage, we'll see what happens. Players can spend it on only one roll, so if you spot a cat, help these people out, because who knows, they might need it. All right, let's have those cats vanish for now, and let us briefly go to the movies. We'll be right back. And here we are. Last time on Convergence Manifesto, our adventurers who are currently busy retrieving yet another planar item have found that item, but at a terrible price. To take the item from a Manifesto of Mabar, Rayn has given her life to hold this game piece figurine. The party escaped Fort Bones, from which they took the item, and sought a place where they could at least find a means to keep Rayn's body intact until they could find a source for reviving her, wherever that may be, by whoever that may be. The party found that help in the Valenar elves, who were currently besieging Fort Bones. and who seem to be supported by a group of mercenaries of House Shadowmane, led by Conda Shadowmane, Dythun's aunt. The party also met the leaders of the Valenar elves, who, after some discussion and discourse, were convinced to at least perform a ritual to keep Rayn's body and soul close enough together so the party has more time to find someone to resurrect her. We ended last session with the party being guided to their own tents in the military camp of the Valenar elves, escorted by a few of the Leonin of House Shadowmane, and by Conda, Dythun's aunt. We pick up today with our party, Dythun, Delphine, Rebus, and the halfling Therin, who tagged along, being led into one large tent with a few field beds, a place for washing and cleaning up, but just all the amenities that you would expect of a military camp. You have everything to feed and wash yourself and sleep, but it is certainly no luxury that you're enjoying here. Conda leads all of you into the tent, and once you're in, she gestures to the remaining Leonin that guided you to leave the tent while she stays behind. She looks at all of you and says, "Look, I have a lot of questions. Starting with how you pulled all of this off, how you even knew of the figurine being there. Mind giving me a little bit of a rundown?"
You know, we do what we do. We have a habit of retrieving interesting things. We did our job.
So you were hired for this?
Kind of.
Not exactly.
Conda looks over at you, Delphine. Delphine was the name, right?
Yeah.
She points at Dythun, but still looks at you. Has he been getting into any kind of trouble?
What actually classifies troubled?
Is he getting hired a lot for these kind of jobs?
Yes.
Perfect. At least he's still making himself useful. And she just winks at you, Dythun, kind of a little bit verbally few verbal jabs at you. So, I think I will ask any further questions once all of you had a bit of a rest. Know that these elves, they're good folk. I don't know the full details of their problems with Karnath. I have some understanding. But they treat my soldiers and me pretty well. And I think they will do the same to you. As long as you reciprocate that.
Do you trust them?
They haven't been late on a single payment. They take good care of my troops. They're good in the field. Tactical understanding. Trust them.
Did you turn your back on them? Or turn your back to them, I should say. Different phrase.
That indeed does change that question. Not for too long, but I would. But you know, you should not.
Old age.
She picks up on that and raises one eyebrow. You know, if you would say that in front of my troops, I would kick your ass, little one.
Back to the good old days.
There's some rations in the boxes over there. Water to drink. I'll let all of you rest up. If there's anything you need, just flag one of my people. They can help you out. And in the morning, they probably fetch you to perform this ritual.
I do have one quick question. If he kind of gestures like to the front of the tent, wanting to step outside.
Right?
Is there like people immediately around the front of the tent, or?
It's a military camp, so there's at least not too far off from you. There's some people, some of the other Leonin who are currently doing some maintenance on their armor and their weapons. But there's also a lot of hustle and bustle from the camp. So there's a lot of noise that would cover up any kind of more quiet conversation. Like if you like lower your voice or something, you could probably talk with each other without anyone being close enough to hear it over the sounds of armor being dinked out, or the sounds of people just talking with each other.
Okay. He'll kind of speak a little bit quietly. Why do people still want me with the house? A few of your men, when we entered, they wouldn't take no for an answer, I guess is the best way to put that.
Not the entire family agrees with what Patriarch and Matriarch did, all right? And that combined with a few other things that have been happening, a few questionable choices that some of the higher-ups also don't fully support, you fuel that lost heir myth. Like, if the current rulers don't do it, maybe the one that they kicked out was kicked out because he was the only one that would stand up to them.
But yeah, but surely there's still people better than me there. Like, I'm not with the family anymore. I don't need people treating me like I'm some... Hell, even if I was with the family, I don't need people treating me like I'm some hero.
No, I totally get that. But you know how soldiers can be. You know how people can be when they're just looking for a solution and they can't find it anywhere else. And look, no one really knows why you were banished. And that's more fuel for theories.
You surely Mother told you.
Oh, I know, yes.
Okay.
But do I look like the type who goes around and telling your entire cater about that?
No, I trust you don't.
It hasn't last time we spoke with each other, I also asked you how that's been doing. Has it grown?
Is it supposed to?
I'm not the academic type, but from what I heard about these kind of things, they can appear, they can mutate. Hell, there's stories about people getting consumed by them.
Well, it's been a little bit useful, but it didn't help with Rayn, so I try not to rely on it because of reasons like that.
Hey. Rayn is holding on to an object that kills you for barely gracing it. What the fuck did you want to do against that?
I don't know. I just feel like even if we hadn't been in there, we wouldn't have lasted much longer. Like, if she... The thing that was attacking us, if she was out there with us, I mean... probably would have killed all of us. I can't protect them.
How long have you been with them now?
Long enough to trust them.
So they probably earned your trust by getting into a lot of these kind of situations with you.
I don't need a whole lesson on not holding yourself accountable for things. Because you know I will. That's my job.
I'm the wrong one to try to teach you that lesson. But it's not like you're sitting on your hands and not trying to do something about it.
I just wish I could do more. Like, what if I'd become like one of the priests of Dol Dawn, you know? Went to learn how to heal people. Like, I could be doing the rituals that these elves are doing.
But you wouldn't be the Dythun that these people seem to respect and travel with. All your choices has led you to them.
I suppose. I don't know. It's probably nothing. I'm just thinking about a lot of things.
It certainly is something. And it's right that you feel this. Just don't let it drag you down too much. But allow it. Give it some space. I have led dozens of soldiers into battle. And I still mourn every single one. The moment you stop doing that, is the moment you should stop asking, or start asking yourself, if you're still on the right path.
How many friends have you led into battle and let die? These are more than soldiers.
You're right on that. It hits even harder with friends.
Right, well, I should let you get back to your strategy meetings.
My tent is over there. If later tonight you want to talk more, exchange thoughts, you're welcome there anytime.
I appreciate it.
Glad to see you again, Dythun.
It's been good to see you too, Aunt.
She gestures to give you a hug, if you allow it.
He'll give her a hug.
Pulls you into a hug. Looks at you. Then wanders off.
Right, and I think I'll just walk back into the tent.
Where also Delphine and Rebus are, and Farron is also there. Farron has picked one of those field beds and is sitting on it. Just looks at the rest of the party. Yeah.
Sorry. Point of clarification. We still have Rayn's body, right? We brought that with us.
No,
Because
not
we
into
know.
the tent.
No,
Or
the
did they
Rain's
take
body
that?
is
They took
with the elves currently. They are preparing her for the ritual.
Right, okay. Okay. I didn't know if we still had, like, her with us to, like, watch over her and the object, or if I couldn't remember.
No.
Okay.
Farron says, I really don't know what to say right now. Fuck it, I'm just gonna say it. Thank you for not killing me.
Delphine in the middle of washing herself, looking over. Yeah, welcome.
Was that for this time or last time?
For both, okay?
Look, if you're not directly opposed to us, we're not terrible, moralist murderers, just, you know.
Aren't we not?
No, certainly not. We, if you get in our way, or if you're trying to do things that we don't agree with, or if... I mean, we're not moralists. Like, right?
You tell me.
Rebus,
murder
who's
Cold
sitting
blood.
there, is answer that. I do think that we have morals, but that we sometimes need to act on a limited time frame and with incomplete information.
I actually would say that's most of the times.
I mean, if you were walking down the street and you saw someone with gold on their head and you needed gold, would you kill them and take the gold? Do I want to know the answer to this?
Who are you
never mind,
asking?
forget
Me
I
or
asked.
Farron?
I'm not. Just kind of like in general, but it's just like, you know what? Never mind. I don't. It's fine. Don't.
Farron already says, do I know the person in this example?
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna forget that I asked and that it took even more than a few seconds for any of you to answer. So, my answer is no, if anyone's curious. But
Rebus, after a bit of silence, says, "Do you think they can help, Rayn?"
Let's hope it. I have no clue what we shall do if this is not going to help.
we'll figure something out. Surely.
We are rather quite a distance away from our entrance point into Danvi. It would be quite a journey to go there to ask Tufaktul to assist.
Well, I mean, that's still in the long run our first step, isn't it? Or are we going from here to somewhere else to ask, or?
No, he gave us these entrance crystals that we are having. So, and he said, if we want to go back to his plane, we need to go there ourselves through the entrance points that we know. He didn't give us any other entrance point.
Right.
So I don't think he will be so kind to just get us over there from nowhere.
I mean, wait, hold on. Wait, didn't he kind of do that?
I mean, yes.
Rebus
You want to
says-
back him?
Reza said, "If I remember correctly, that was due to and I quote, temporal alignment that is not easy to replicate. It was a rather intriguing way of crossing planes."
You know, I'd rather not go digging through dumpsters again.
You came in through a dumpster.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. So we have to get on the lightning rail and then jump off the lightning rail again? Is that?
Not necessarily off a lightning rail, but from that bridge.
I thought the lightning rail was a. Wait, I thought that was the.
No, we needed
Something
to be
about
there at a
speed?
specific time and like.
Oh.
What you would
That makes
remember
sense.
from the last time you entered was that the reason why you had to jump off of the lightning rail was to get the necessary velocity for the fall. So you can try to do it by just jumping from the bridge, but from what you gathered from your last time was that it was essential to jump at a certain speed at the lightning rail so that you're accelerated while you're falling down and falling in. And there's certainly some kind of physics here that I can't explain and I won't.
Yeah, that's what I
Right,
wanted to ask, because normally if you're moving forwards, the wheel movement is just forwards and not downwards. Downwards is a different movement, and it's
is
just
this-
kind of colliding here, so it doesn't
Is
make
this
sense.
the beholder on the lightning rail all over again?
Kinda, yes.
Look,
I-
Danvi is a plane of order, and apparently it's orderly to only jump from a lightning rail and not just jumping from
But
a
it
bridge.
doesn't make sense from the physical point of view.
Well, you know, I mean, the javelin of lightning doesn't really make sense either, but we kind of roll with it.
Don't get me
No,
started on
no,
that
no.
one.
A javelin of lightning is totally reasonable because it's magic.
Well, maybe this. I mean, the lightning rail is magic to some extent,
I mean, yes, definitely.
and so is plane shifting.
Yeah.
So, like, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, but
Reba
For-
says, I don't know the exact physics of that. I mean, we can certainly try to just jump from the bridge, but if we could get a ride on a lightning rail, considering the circumstances, maybe that would be safer.
right. 'cause we
So,
don't
a jump from a
have the
lightning rail.
ticket thing.
Yeah, we need a ticket. Do you peeps have money for that?
It depends on how much they. Oh,
Oh yeah, I actually don't have the prices in my mind, so.
I've never had to buy one. I don't think.
It's a while since I needed to buy one on my own.
Well,
Also, I'm
how
not
about-
sure if there's a lightning rail available in the the next few kilometers. Probably not.
Yeah, what you would totally know is that like that lightning rail that you took last time went through a part of Karnath, but going by your own orientation, you're quite a journey away from the lightning rail station here in Karnath.
Well, I think step one is get Rayn the help she needs now, and then go from there.
What I know is, if we don't get her out of there or like back into like a living state, she will probably hunt us for the rest of our lives. And I personally don't want that.
Right. So, how about we rest and we get this ceremony going? Ritual? Whatever words they said.
Also, there are a few things to discuss.
Now or in the morning?
Probably best now.
Okay. He's like still standing by the door. He's like, I'm gonna stand here because if I sit down, I will fall asleep. So,
What is it that you would like to discuss, Miss Delphine?
Looking to Farron. Could you please, like, do it like the wind and vanish?
Oh, I see. This is a party matter. And she gets up. I'm gonna meet some Leonin. Take your time. And she just wanders out through the flap of the tent.
hey, don't pick any of their pockets. Otto will kill you.
So looking at Rebus and Dythun. Also, with that, what happened today? I'm wondering, shall we actually continue with this? Because from what I saw with this piece, it wouldn't have mattered if we would just have left it there on the plane. Because Rayn now gave her life to just get it out of there, and if anyone else would have tried to get it, like Farron, she would have probably also have died in there.
I mean, I hate to be the altruist hero person, but like, doesn't that mean we're kind of the perfect people for this? I mean, we've been the seemingly only ones who have succeeded in retrieving these things.
Yeah, but do we actually need to do this? We have a few of the pieces. Aurea will never put this machine together in that way.
So she'll just keep sending people after us. It's not like she can't find us. She has connections. Hell, she
That's not what
knows what
concerns me.
city we base ourselves in, so...
I'm not concerned about that thing. It's more about what if what happened today happens again? What if someone else of us dies? We might not be that lucky, like probably Rayn, to have like somewhat of help. There might not even be a way to get back to life. Which brings me to another matter. Do you even want that? Looking first to Rebus and then to Dythun.
Rebus had lowered their head in a thinking pose, then lifts it up again, their lamp behind their broken visor glowing. It is a hard but necessary question you ask, Miss Delphine. I think if you ask me if something like this would happen to me, I feel like I already exist on borrowed time. I was found, given new life. And now I use that to leave the world a better place than I found it. I am not sure if I find my end doing something to make the world better, I could be at peace with that. And I think, yes, you could say, if it wasn't for us, someone else would have gotten this game piece, but who would have used it for what? These people use it to fuel their armies. Farron might have given to Aurea. But if we find it and hand these to Tuvok-Tuul, I think they're in a safe place there. And they sit back a bit, turning their head away, the light in their head like going a little bit dimmer, and just letting those words linger, giving the next person a chance to speak.
And you, Dythun? As far as I know, these chains on your arm, if you die, they will not even leave you here.
I have it on good authority that that's not necessarily the case. Right now, at least. I don't know. Much more selfish reasons to if it were possible, I'd want someone to at least try. But if it puts someone else in danger to do that, then I don't want someone getting hurt over my own mistakes. But in the grand scheme of things, in a perfect situation where it's a choice to make, it'd make my family very happy if I just disappeared, and I don't want them getting that satisfaction.
What about you, Miss Delphine?
If I die, so it be. Might
And,
just be fitting enough.
and about our task?
That's the question, yeah. Do we want to continue gathering these pieces? No matter how harmful they are, how powerful, because I think this one chess piece might not even be the most powerful of them all. But what do I know about this? So, or we are taking the risk that we are getting hunted for the rest of our lives, which might be as in the same way entertaining.
With all due respect, if we can get through surviving the outcomes, well, or hopefully get through this in a fight against death itself, what kind of threat are possible assassins and bounty hunters against us?
Good point. I mean, looking from what Farron tried to get against us, she normally wouldn't have survived this.
Yeah, but what about someone like Harol?
As far as I know, we haven't really seen that much of her, or at least I haven't seen that much of her. So, you might know more.
I mean, Harol took down a matriarch of a dragon-marked house. Think we're gonna stand a chance against someone like that?
Yeah, with our help
If we don't know
of
they're
getting
coming,
in there.
where would they need to get into with us? An inn or a, you know.
I'm just saying.
Here's my thing. I am not scared of something like that. I just want everyone to be aware that, like, hey, that's a good possibility. But at the same time, I think it's best we keep going with this if we can get Rayn back, because whether Rayn wants to keep building something or not, the people that would go after these artifacts, or I mean, hell, what if the old matriarch of the Lorenda house got a hold of this chess piece? What kind of damage could she do with it? Look at this whole fort that we just infiltrated, raising these armies of dead that can do massive amounts of catastrophic damage to people. Is it best to let them lie where they are, or take it out of the hands of others?
But think about it. For example, that piece on Ice White Isle. What were the chances that anyone else would ever have come to the sheer idea of going on that godforsaken island? Everyone that I got to know never ever wanted to get close to this place. And how did we get there? First, because Aurea sent out 2 different kinds of adventure skills to go to that place, and or better to say, she sent out a different kind of, and then we got sent there by my cousin. So we got sent her because she knew of it. So, and that's
Right.
one person. One person with too much power and too much anger.
Isn't that all the more reason then to keep doing what we're doing? That not one person with too much anger has these objects. I would agree with Dythun that any acceptable conclusion to these topics can only be done if we have Rayn back. But Ms. Delphine, thank you very much for approaching these topics.
I want to say 2 more things, Delphine.
Sure.
First of all, I do appreciate your hesitation and concern and addressing that there are risks to this, and that the point of doing it is a little bit muddled. But I've said enough of my piece on that. The other is a question: if me and Rebus and hopefully Rayn come back to say, yes, we do want to keep doing this, are you going to follow?
You know, I understand of waiting for Rayn to say her things to this, but I also know that she will definitely continue with it because she was kinda like that driving force that got us to do this in the first place, you know?
Yeah, but she might say, fuck that, I died.
Knowing her, this is just another experience for her.
Yeah, she's probably sitting there thinking, like, now I can fuck with him in another way now.
You
I mean,
think that?
obviously.
Yeah, you think that thing that happened in that one tent was she?
Who else would it have been?
Yeah. So you know her as good as I do, probably most likely better, because you both were kind of besties. So
I do treat her as a close friend, but Delphine, and Rebus as well, I consider you my friends. Your opinion does matter to me. I don't want you to think I'm sitting here trying to dismiss it by any means.
no, I'm not doing. I'm not thinking that.
Okay, good.
I just want to have some clarification on that matter. And even if it's like that, I'm not fully on the same side because I see all the potential risks in there, and the outcome for us might not be the best in the short or the long run. So for me, it's most like how do I say this? It's more important to know what to do if certain things happen. You know.
Contingency plans.
You know, you think I'm asking what to do with your bodies if you die and with not having any kind of like thoughts about this beforehand?
I mean, we've made it this far without that.
Yeah, this far. And you see how that happens.
Alright.
So, and depending on what comes next, that could have been the situation of like, oh yeah, you died. Fuck that. You know? It's not the first time this happens.
Yeah.
Might not be the last time.
Knowing us? Probably not.
It is good that we exchange information on this. It might have been too long that we had this kind of conversation. But it also shows that there is quite a bond between us at this point. If you wouldn't mind, I need to tend to my damages for now. And I think we would all benefit from a bit of rest.
Right.
Thank you, Miss Delphine. Thank you, Dythun.
Thank you. Delphine, thank you for caring for us. I know you act like you're so, in some ways, what's the term? nonchalant and I'm just here and it is what it is, but I appreciate it. I know deep down you care.
Maybe you make things up in your mind,
Maybe.
As far as I know, as you all were down there, like, kind of bleeding out, I could have taken my leave.
You could have, but you didn't. Anyway, good night, everyone. And he walks over to a bed and just falls face forward into the bed, and he's out.
I swear to any god on this godforsaken world, if you're snoring, I will kill you in your sleep.
Well, if he's snoring, it's like into the bed.
There's
He's
this muffled
It's probably more of like a purr anyway. Like
Delphine will not go to sleep yet. She will take a stroll through the camp and smoke a bit on her pipe to just cool down.
Absolutely. It's on that image of Dythun just falling face first into his bed and Delphine walking out, already readying her pipe, that we do transition over to the other side of the veil, where we find the source for some of these topics that were discussed, that were talked about here, who is still waiting to come back to this world. Rayn, when last we saw you, you had just had a strange encounter, yet another encounter with this entity who seems to have some kind of history with you, who you and your companions might have loosened up a bit more during your voyage on Ice White Isle. But towards the end of that encounter, you heard the voices of your companions, distant echoes. What are you currently doing, knowing that some things can reach across the threshold?
I think in that moment, Rayn was still agitating the entity, being her cocky self. Once the entity was temporarily dispelled and she heard the voices, she checked to make sure that she was alone on this plane of death. And for a brief second, dropped the facade and felt helpless, scared, but also hopeful, because you can't be scared without having hope, and you can't have hope without being scared. And in that moment, she decided to just sprint down the whatever path she soulfully knows she needs to continue on physically. There's no more guise of floating. It's just full-on inelegant sprinting.
What kind of path would Rayn be running down at this point?
She landed on some sort of shore.
Right, yes.
I'd be curious to think if this is perhaps similar to the very first time she left the Thunder Sea and actually had to swim up to land, maybe got some rides or some hitches on some ships, but had to eventually walk onto the sand for the first time. And it would have been near Sharn during the around the western part of the continent, with a lot more cities and people and commerce and town. And it would have been just like this wonderful amazement of life and diversity of people, of ideas, of cultures. And I think as Rayn is running down this shore path in Mabar, in the plane of the afterlife that she's in. She's sort of trying to run towards those colorful things because she's in this monotone, lifeless, not diverse place.
The path is eerily similar to the one that you took when you left the Thundersea. You recognize first the dirt trail, then the cobblestones, but you notice that there's this lack of color. You have not seen a single person here with you, not a single merchant caravan passing by, fondly remembering how when you came out here, everything of this was new to you. All the faces, all the people, all the talk. None of that is here. Mabar is not beginnings. Mabar is endings. And all you see in the distance, where you, from your memory, saw the spiraling towers of Sharn, this massive metropolis, towers piercing into the clouds. All you see there are ruins.
You mentioned last time that part of her hand seemed to be less transparent. Is that still the case?
Yes, that's the case, yeah.
I don't know if Rayn actually feels winded because she has no physical body anymore, but maybe there's a habit of being winded, so some part of her feels like she has to be winded, so she might be temporarily in this moment. She just kind of stops to look at her hand, holds it up in this dull light to see whether or not you can still see through it. But that means the pizza has to also be handed in somewhere safely. I mean, okay, none of them are arcanely inclined, so I'm sure they're doing their very best. But if they bring me back without handing in the piece, I'm just going to come back to this forsaken place.
Can you roll me a perception check, please, Rayn?
Okay. $15.
Are you saying these things out loud that you mentioned?
Yeah.
Are you thinking out loud?
I'm thinking out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it'd be deathly silent, and we can't have that.
No, we can't. You think these thoughts out loud, and you look ahead, you still have this vision of crumbled, ruined Sharn in front of you. And just as you finish that last sentence, you hear just this crack. And in the distance, another part of these spires collapses and crashes into the ruins. And then from behind you, you hear nothing from behind you. You hear something in your mind.
Oh,
A female
my
voice.
God. Oh.
Do not wander too far. And then stepping next to you, you see this tall elven woman. Spectral form, but the translucent appearance still shows hints of the green and gold robe she's wearing. She is a good bit taller than you. Has her hands folded in front of her, now standing next to you, looks at you.
I'll do like a little walk around her. I don't know you.
Until recently, I did not know you. Your mind. There are bridges leading from and to your mind. You must not be unfamiliar to this way of conversation.
I think it's good that I do not know you. I think this is the only time we'll be able to talk like this before. You are not you. Who are
What
you?
do you
How do you
think?
know me?
I must admit I do not know you, but I have met your friends.
Oh,
Your corporeal form is in my safekeeping. My name is Liara Johannes. I am of the Valenar.
the Valenar. You know, if the text would have it, would so say it, we might even be distant relatives.
The stories do tell that Tritons are distant cousins of ours. Though I must admit I have never ventured beneath the Thunder Sea. I am not much of a swimmer. Your companions brought you into my care. I'm sorry for the fate that has befallen you. Yet you still wander so close in Mabar. The realm has not taken you yet.
I was told there would be a path. I was told I had to be dead to know it.
You were told? Fascinating. But Mabar was not the only place that speaks to you. Your spirit
I'm very
is
popular.
She can't resist to have a little of a smile at that remark, but then straightens her face again to a serious expression. You have marks of various realms on you. I cannot bring you back, but that is also not what your friends, your companions, hope that I will do. But I can and will do my best to bind you closer to your body, so that if they do find someone to bring you back, there is more than just a small chance to return the soul to the body.
My soul will be reunited with my body.
You have determination.
They're a capable bunch, and there are things I need to do. So it will happen.
It was you in the tent, was it not?
I was perhaps testing some things. I heard you all. And I've gone through unfortunate situations in the past where I could not be heard, so I had to make sure I had to be felt too.
I am sorry to hear that. It is a kind of torture to not have one's voice heard. Resist the pull of Mabar. Do not go into the deep shadows. Do not tempt the shades. And do not cross the river.
GM, do I know what river she's talking about?
Make either an Arcana or Religion check with advantage.
D20. 21 total Arcana.
Arcana. The realms of Mabar and Dolor, I kind of related to each other. Both of them have A Link to the Afterlife, and it is set within many folklore and also within arcane studies that a soul, as it wanders through the afterlife, basically goes through both of these places. Dolor is basically where, with the positive life force that comes there, where a soul can come from, while when it's dying, it wanders into Mabar, where it finds its end. You also know that in some places, Dolor and Mabar border each other. The usual way is that the positive life energy comes from Dolor over into Mabar to dissolve there. But you're in Mabar. If you would cross a border, such as a river or something, into Dolor, that's basically going against the way the circle should be. Make of that what you will.
All right, noted. I mean, I've broken enough barriers for today, I think.
I shall leave you for now.
On your little visit, it's just me you see around here, nothing, no one else?
You have a passenger. I'm afraid I cannot do anything about him.
Nor can I at the moment. All right. I will say, should you want to talk to me again, as lovely as a visage as you are and dear, truly it is, I'd appreciate us switching it up, as my passenger likes to take on forms that I'm familiar with. I wouldn't want to mishear some information that might be pertinent.
I'm simply projecting the form I have in life into this place. I am not sure I can take any other form.
You're very clever. I'm sure you have some tricks up your sleeve. I'm sure you can assist someone else to project and deliver a message.
We will speak again, and I will see about that.
If I may, tell them thank you. And that it was for something, and it will be for something.
She nods. And as she does, her form just dissolves. Like embers, her entire form falls apart and is blown away in Mabar. So you're once again alone here.
I'm on to you, fuckface.
Quiet.
Not that you'd ever show me your face. Do you even have a face?
And it's with those out loud wondering that we zoom out a bit of the scene. We see another crumbling tower in the distance. And we swipe over to our break for today. We're going to go on a quick little 5-minute break for today before we continue on today's session. Take the chance to refill your drinks, stretch your legs. Thanks everyone for joining us in chat so far. And we will be back in 5 minutes. See you then.
Boo.
And we are back. In the first part of today's session, the living part of the party has been having quite the conversation about how they want to continue their adventures. and what to do if any more of them face the fate that Rayn has currently faced, being actually dead and on the other side of the veil. Rayn has also on her side, in the realm of the dead of Mabar, encountered one of the Valenar elves, Leara Johannes, who is going to be helping in the ritual to at least bind her soul closer to her body, as the party is going to search for a way to really get Rayn back to the living, the land of the living. Talking about this living part of the party, we're going to pick up with you after you had a chance to have a full night's rest. For those of you who decided to take that chance, and I have a feeling Dythun did take that chance, you can click the long rest button. Though,
Just give me a breakdown of everything I'm recovering, and it's like this long.
Wow.
Delphine, however, you're probably already awake when Dythun and Rebus wake from their long rest.
Yeah, not in the tent at all.
Not in the tent at all. Where would we find Delphine at this point, then?
At that point, basically, standing at the edge of the of this the wool camp, like looking towards the fort, and probably already an uncounted number of refills of her pipe.
Right.
At that moment.
Yes. She's been burning through a lot of the tobacco for the pipe. How does Delphine look after this night?
Well, probably like not that fresh and awake like the rest of the group, or more of like what's the word of this? More tense by now. Like as if she has thought a lot about a lot of things.
Right.
So it's also like if someone will try to speak to her at that moment, she might not even react to it because she is so lost in her thoughts.
It's at that moment where you feel a hand, or more like a paw, on your shoulder.
Slightly startling and like looking over to that person.
You see this tall Leonin woman, Konda Shadowmane, who is in full armor and everything, and also seems to be startled by your reaction for a moment, and says, "Apologies, Delphine. I kept calling out to you, but you didn't seem to hear me."
Yeah, I was thinking about something.
Night Patrol says that you've been thinking all night.
Looking around, noticing that it's morning, like, yes.
Penny for your thoughts?
I don't think it matters.
You're coming here with the dead body of one of your companions, and you're saying it wouldn't matter?
Why should it?
You are really trying to sell this presentation of yours, aren't you?
I have a reputation that I need to keep.
Delphine de Laranda, Bane of the Waves. sailing out and plundering ships all over the sea. You have a reputation, yes. Though I did not expect to get to know you in this context. House Shadowmane doesn't do many naval operations.
I'll never thought I would end up in that kind of context.
Are you ready for today?
I would say as ready as someone who, that tries to somehow save someone? I don't know if this is the right term for this because, you know.
Because you don't think you're doing much to save her?
No, she's already dead, so there's like...
Right. Only one way to find out. Can I have the honor of escorting you to the priestess?
Sure.
We just also have to drop by your tent to pick up the rest of your party.
One question, so already starting walking over to the tent. So, you're Dythun's aunt.
I am.
So he is actually not that talking that much about his family, so I'm wondering.
I feel insulted. I was hoping you would talk about me nonstop.
Sadly not. How was he when he was a child? You know, I need to have something that I can pick on.
And she lets out like this loud laugh, like this, like surprised by this. And she just, she puts a hand on your shoulder like, I'll think about some stories. Let's get this over with first. And she wanders with you together over to the tent where Dythun and Rebus, you're also already had some time to get ready. And you do see indeed that both Conda and Delphine wander into the tent. And Conda says, morning. Hope you had a bit of a chance to rest up. And Rebus is at this point just like closing one final panel on their body, having like readjusted a few of the wires that were torn apart, some of the pads on the armored figure of theirs that were battered with attacks. There's still some scratches and everything, but it's going to take a bit of a workshop to get that out. But Rebus looks proper functional again, and they go all up to operating procedures again.
Sorry, what?
Nothing important. Do I have the honor of escorting you as well over here? You did notice, what you would have noticed is that Farron is not in the tent.
I check my bag.
Everything's there.
Okay,
If any of you check their bags, nothing has been taken from it.
Okay. Farron was a halfling, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will mention to Conda, just, you know, you might want to keep an eye on that halfling. Came in with us. She's not one of our usual crew. More of a straggler. I don't trust her at all in any way, except that I don't think she would outright try and kill any of us without being paid enough.
If we're talking about the same halfling, she has been hanging with a few of my troops last night. I've been keeping an eye on her.
Yeah, just make sure everyone double checks the coin purse.
I cannot check the inventory of all my soldiers, but they know how to take care of themselves.
Right.
And they also know who to enjoy the evening celebrations with and who not.
So, is it time?
It is.
Right.
Time to get up. Follow me. She holds open the tent flap.
All right, let's do whatever it is we're doing.
All of you together are led out of the tent and past a vast number of other tents that are set up for this camp. You at first think that you're walking back to this central command tent, the large one where you met the elves first, where you saw Kanda, and where you had also left Rayn and the artifact. But you're not ending up there. You're marching to the other side of the camp, further away from the fort, further away to whatever siege or fighting is still going on, to the edge, far edge of the camp. A group of Valenar soldiers in this beautiful crafted armor stand around a wood and stone altar that had been set up here. Resting on top of it, under a white blanket with gold filigree worked into it, you can see Rayn lying there. She has her face up towards the sky, which is still this dull gray that seems to cover almost every part of Karnath. And standing beyond the altar is one of the tall elves that you've seen in the tent. The woman in the robes, a lot of gold chains around her dark green dress. And she's looking at you with soft eyes. Not too far away from her is the other tall elf woman, the one in the armor, the one that spoke with you when you came in here. There's a fierceness to her gaze, but also, as she looks at the body on the altar, that gaze softens up a bit. She's the one that also welcomes you as you approach. And she says out loud, in common to all of you, I hope you had some time to recover from your trials.
Some more than others. Like looking to Delphine, very obviously exhausted.
Looking fine. Just a bit tired, you know.
My sister has been preparing your companion's body. She's still holding the anchor. But she has also reached out to her spirit in preparation for this coming rite. She brings word from your companion. She says, thank you for your efforts.
Is that really what she said?
The
Because normally she will be more like, you know.
The woman behind the altar notices your response, looks at the armored elf, and then looks at you, Delphine. And you hear a female voice in your head saying, there were many words she said, some more defiant than others. But she also did say thank you.
Probably able to respond back because we know already.
Yeah,
like,
you.
yeah,
yeah.
that sounds more like her.
The woman behind the altar smiles at you. The armored elf says, "The rite that my sister will perform will make sure that the soul will not stray too far from the body. It is one that she is trained in, and that I have seen her done many times before. Spirits are bound closer to this world if there are people, objects, places around them that keep them tied, keep them anchored here. So I invite all of you, if you've journeyed long enough with Rayn, to step closer. Take a seat close to the altar. There are no expectations of any deeds that you must do during this performance. Only that you keep the memory of your companion with you. Are there any questions before we start?
Looking to the auras. I guess no?
Is this going to work?
It has worked on many fallen comrade of ours. It is a rite we use, if necessary, before bodies are shipped back from the front. The only complication that my sister and I can see is the presence of the anchor. It is a powerful weight. It might make it harder for the soul to stay close.
So this thing might be a problem.
One that is currently hard to deal with.
Yeah, maybe you should have thought about this beforehand.
Well, there's not much else to be done.
I mean, we could go out, find the hand from some dead skeleton, and place it in there, I guess. But that would take quite some time.
I don't think it works like that.
I'm not sure.
Look, I don't claim to understand magic to much degree, but I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody with gloves grabs it, they'd still die. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure half of the people in the fort would have been able to touch it.
You are correct in that assumption, Leonin. I do know that you don't know our arts, or that the powers that were granted to my sister. But I have seen her work wonders. I think you can trust her and her capabilities. Sit close.
Wanna sit
All
down?
of you come closer.
Dythun will get close, but he will stand.
All right. The woman in the robes, once all of you are a bit closer, starts moving her hands slowly over Rayn's body. Slowly closing her eyes and seemingly sinking into a trance. From her hands, the palms of her hands start glowing as she very gently puts them on this white gold shroud that is currently covering Rayn. Her eyes open, and you can see that they are also filled with this white gold light as she keeps talking to herself in what Delphine would understand as an elvish dialect, and invoking powers that she knows of. This rite will take some time, and you remember the words of one of the other elves that all you need to do is keep the memory of Rayn in your mind. Dythun, what would Dythun be thinking about in regards to Rayn at this point?
I think he's shifting back and forth between a few different memories. One where Rayn and he were traveling, not traveling's not the right word, but exploring a keep, one of them invisible, one of them disguised, trying to infiltrate the keep of Shadowmane, all in the means just to deliver a letter, essentially, and to have a brief interaction with Dythun's sister. And then back to being out in the wilderness, camping by a river, and coming across Rayn guised as her own mother, and really kind of for the first time having more of an intimate conversation with Rayn, and like really feeling like there was a deeper connection there, and like the first time remembering like verbally saying that he cared for Rayn and that he thought Rayn was important and doing a good job, and like essentially telling her mother she matters.
All right. Dythun, can you roll me a d20, but I don't want you to tell us the result. I want you to send that to me in a private message. Just send me on Discord a private message with the result. While Dythun does that, Delphine, what kind of memory comes into your mind of Rayn?
Well, so the first is the one where they actually got to know each other for the first time, like on the super tall building in Sean, where this kind of where they played this Sean chicken game. So, and as kind of an initiation to the Adventurers Guild. And yeah, while thinking about that, she kind of unconsciously takes out that feather token that she still carries from that encounter. It's not used yet, so it's still used and functional. She never used it. So, and like kind of like playing with that in one hand. So so while that comes into her mind and that plays through how the wolf thing went down, it's also like on how they did the first adventure and starts to get to know each other a bit better, and like the group, and how they basically how shall I explain this? Like started to got a feeling like in total. So what is this kind of person who I have to deal with? And so with the situations of like the first when they went through this damn tunnel and Rayn encountered, there's a little bit of water, and she jumped right in there to stay there for the rest of the night. And also like later on when they got to know the harpies and or what happened there. And yeah, so and then there is another memory where they actually traveled into this what was this name of the plains where we got the chains from?
Thelanis.
Yeah, when they traveled there, and like when Delphine and Rayn were together on this one path with this strange forest, and yeah, tried to get through there. So, which was kind of like a weird situation and experience. So, and also with like this feeling of like being glad that they got out there and not got stuck in this damn forest. So yeah, that plays all through. But and there's also the fact of how rude she actually was towards Rayn with like the situation of the lightning rail. And also the thing of like, yeah, she doesn't want it to hurt Rayn that much that she probably had, but in a way of saying like, yeah, that Delphine doesn't want it to have Rayn clinging too much on her. So and like that Rayn has in a way an option to look for someone that is more fitting.
To look for someone that is more fitting. A lot of these thoughts go through your mind, Delphine. And I invite you to also roll me a d20. And don't tell us the result. Just send it to me. While the priestess continues his ritual and all of you focus on your memories of Rayn, you do notice that the shroud that lies over Rayn moves in all kinds of directions. And during this ritual, the priestess carefully pulls it slowly off of Rayn, and you can now see your companion's body still holding on to the artifact, this game piece, this bit of Mabar incarnate. The priestess still has this golden glow in her eyes as her gaze fixes on the game piece. Her glowing hand moves closer towards the artifact. And suddenly there is a bright flash of light that comes forth. and we transition over to beyond the veil. Beyond. On the other side. Rayn Undinath. What have you been doing since your visit by this figure you saw earlier?
Once the figure left, Rayn is probably feeling a little paranoid because this is potentially ammunition for the entity. So she's now like a bit unsettled, looking around, checking her thoughts, and continuing down whatever invisible path is pulling her forward. Even if it's towards the crumbled ruins that may be there 1 minute, or whatever other visage might be pulling her otherwise. But there is some hope, but there's some trepidation in her steps as well. It's like now
Right.
there's something to lose. Even though she's dead, that's a very strange thought to be having now of all times.
As you, with that thought in mind, you step forward, stumble further forward, you suddenly put one step forward, and there is just darkness around you. And right in front of you, you see Rebus. And you realize you've been here with Rebus before. This darkness. Their blank space in their mind. And Rebus is standing in front of you, looking at you, still an unshattered faceplate.
It's not polite to call people voids, you know.
You hear Rebus' voice verbatim saying, "Thank you, Miss Rayn. Thank you for this." And then you hear from behind you, you hear your own voice, imitating your mother's voice from behind you. It's a little stream, field of grass. You're making a mocking imitation of your own mother.
If I try to wave my arms around, or if there's any magic still in Rayn's soul to conjure elements, wind, is there anything that can push back this darkness? Because I was also warned to stay away from certain darknesses.
You push against it?
Yeah.
You push against it and this darkness is gone. But you still, now you're in this, like, somewhere countryside, a little stream nearby, looking at your own little impression of imitating your mother. Having this discourse with yourself, basically. You remember doing this. You see, not too far away from the Dythun standing there. But he's not standing right at that scene close to the stream out in the countryside. No, it's almost as if there's like a set built next to him of a room inside a fortress. And you see him there handing something over to a Leonin girl.
Do I recognize that Leonin girl?
You absolutely do. It's Kaitha.
No.
She looks at you actually, and she waves back. And Dythun looks at you, nods, and has a smile on his face. Rayn, there was already one of your hands that seemed to gotten corporeal. You've seen that growing up from that hand, your arm becomes no longer translucent, and it reaches up to your elbow. And it seems to be slowly coming all over your body, and you can hear again distant voices. You speak Elvish, right?
She does.
You hear Elvish chanting. Dialect you haven't heard in a long time. Valenar.
While on her walks through Mabar, Rayn had been able to just conjure things into existence briefly. Right. So very hesitantly, like, is this them, or is this the entity fucking with me? She's going to try to conjure this overly ornate, perhaps imbalanced, perhaps only plated on the outside dagger. This ornate dagger that she had bought on a particular trip from Rukandal. And she had asked a guide of theirs for help to buy it because she kind of wanted to get a good price for it. But she remembered wanting to pick out something for Dythun's little sister with the intention of, quote unquote, freaking out her parents. Knowing that maybe this child, maybe seeing some of herself in that child, recognizing the kind of noble pressures that Dythun probably experienced similar to hers, and why not give this little girl a reckless souvenir to play with?
Always a good idea to give little girls sharp objects. And you hand that over to her. And you hear in this young voice of hers, huh. Nice. And she like unsheathes it, looks at it, shows it to Dythun, who nods at it.
And I'll do what I did on the last trip, is I'm going to go behind her, scoop her up underneath her arms, and I'm going to fly and say, quick, point it up, and instruct her to point the dagger up and sort of start chasing Dythun around the room.
You do that. You can easily swoop in behind her and you pick her up. She points out the dagger. And as you swoop in behind her, you realize your whole body is no longer incorporeal. There's a physicality to your form. You fly up, lifted by your boots of flying, lifting up the little Leonin girl, starting this chase around this room. Her brother already running away in a pretend chase, and you want to lift this girl forward, and then suddenly you stop, as if an invisible rope ties you down. And as you look down this length, down there on the ground, like an anchor, is that game piece. That artifact. But you're no longer incorporeal. What does that mean in a place like Mabar? What does that mean to...
Bodies cannot be in Mabar. Oh no. Should I be happy or should I be concerned? Hello? What's going on here?
We hear more of this elvish chanting, the voice becoming clearer. And then, moving across the floor is the game piece. Moving across it like it would across a dragon chessboard. It's coming closer to you. It's trying to pull you in, reel you back in.
Rayn stands her ground, turns and like, Kaitha dear, one moment please. Auntie Rayn needs to have a stern talking to Mabar. They turn around and actually squat down at the ground to just kind of like stare off it with this game piece.
As you squat down, you just hear whispers coming from it.
I thought we had an understanding.
You hold. You hold. You cannot leave. You hold.
I will leave.
You defy Mabar.
We had an understanding.
Silence from the figure. Can you give me a perception check, Rayn?
4.
Silence from the figure. You look at it. You hear the elvish chanting, almost as if you're standing next to this person right now. And actually, as you look across your shoulder, Kaitha is gone. Dythun is gone. This entire scene you were in is gone. What you see is elves in beautiful armor standing around an altar, your own body on top of that altar, and close to it, Delphine, Rebus, Dythun, all looking at this rite that it's being performed. You are, by your own estimate, like 2 steps away from them. But you cannot move due to the weight of this piece.
Can I feel their telepathic presences?
Yes.
Delphine odd, Dythun even. That's a 10. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Ha, ha.
Dythun and Rayn, can both of you give me a charisma saving throw?
Are we near Delphine? Dythun is near Delphine.
Dythun is near Delphine, yes.
Okay.
Rayn is
On a different
metaphysically
plane.
not near to Delphine.
Said charisma saving throw?
Yes.
18.
Oh, not so good. 15.
15 is pretty good.
Yeah. I rolled a single digit, but...
Continue what you would like to tell Dythun, Rayn.
I do enjoy our chats, Dythun. But if you ever want me to cut the joke, just poke out your own eye.
You hear that crystal clear in your mind, Dythun.
Are you okay?
The message comes back to you, Rayn, but you hear close to you this sound. And you look at the figurine, at the game piece. There's a crack in it. You feel the weight with which it pulls you down grow weaker.
So you can't hear me.
Rayn?
Oh my
Yes?
god, thank God. You look like shit.
Dythun just starts crying. And smiles. You don't look good yourself.
No, I look fabulous. I look amazing there. Maybe someone should wash my face. Anyway, it's working. I think it's working, but there's a problem. What we're doing.
Rayn's arm, the arm of her body, moves up, holding the piece aloft. The rest of her body is still limp. And as this arm just goes up into the air, the priestess steps back, her eyes still glowing, looks at the piece, and the top of the piece cracks, falls off, and Rayn's eyes go wide. So we're going to take our last break for today there and cut back after that break to see how that continues for the final part of today's session. Okay. We're just going to be gone for 5 minutes. So one more chance to refill your drinks, stretch your legs, and we will be back in 5. See you soon for the final part of today's session. Welcome back. We're here for the third and final part of today's session at Convergence Manifesto. Before our break, a ritual has started to at least bind Rayn's spirit closer to her body to make sure that any kind of later resurrection magic has a bit more time to be actually cast on her. However, apparently some things are working a bit differently when an artifact of the plane of death is nearby. And we've seen before the break that Rayn's telepathic abilities were able to pierce across the veil, speak to Dythun, but now her body, her arm has moved up, and a part of the artifact has broken off just as her eyes open. Let's start with the living side here. We have basically both sides kind of in the scene right now. It's going to be a bit of a back and forth, but we're going to start with the living side. Delphine, Dythun, you all see this happening, that the body of Rayn just pulls up this arm, the figurine breaks, and the eyes of Rayn go wide. What do you do?
Is this supposed to happen?
The armored elf looks at you, already one hand on her sword. No, this is not supposed to happen.
Right. Good to know. I think like the chains just like slowly unravel a little bit off his arm.
Right.
Yeah, Delphine stopping in her track with the token, looking at the scene in front, and like looking to Dythun. Are you crying?
I think we have bigger problems.
Maybe. No.
The other arm of Rayn's body stretches out to the side as if it's reaching out towards the party, fingers stretched. And Rayn, you can see this from the other side of the veil. You can see your body making these movements, and you see that from the broken piece, the broken game piece, there is this dark shadow that tries to snake and sneak by you.
The shadow is sneaking past Rayn as Rayn is projecting herself into the material plane, or Rayn on Mabar?
It is on Mabar with Rayn, but it's basically moving from the chest piece towards the direction of the material plane that Rayn can see.
as my body is making these movements, do I feel like I did that?
In a strange way, yes. It's almost as if you're. It's an even more strange feeling, as if you have felt one of your, like, if you sat too long in the wrong position and your leg has gone numb, how you try to like get it moving again and get a bit of feeling back into this leg. You have that kind of sensation that you are aware that this is your body that's moving, but it also feels distant and far away. But it feels like you are doing these movements.
If Rayn moving her her souled arms and bodies, just trying to it's like trying to get into an oversized suit that's heavy and unwieldy and doesn't fit right, but nonetheless having to crawl in. Rayn stretching the arms on her soul.
You reach there, and that shade, that shadow that's been snaking out, is imitating your moves. Actually takes the shape of your own shadow as you're reaching out.
So we have an understanding, Rayn talks to the shadow. We do things together. That was the deal we had.
And you hear this voice that you heard when you came to the plane of Mabar, the voice of the entity you played the game with. You're finding the path.
I am still dead. The path will be known to me.
You cannot wake with your body holding the piece, and the piece is broken.
What does that mean?
I do not know. The piece was never broken.
How do you feel with it being broken? I ask Mabar.
Conflicted. Your path is easier now.
We had an understanding.
The piece wasn't broken then. There have been workings from the other side.
I am still dead.
Not for much longer if you press on. But the piece is broken.
I try to shift my consciousness back to Dythun. What you're doing is working, but it's there's a conflict here. I only know the way back if I'm dead. I cannot be alive while I hold the piece. We need the piece. I need the piece to find its way. We need to collect all these powers. I need to collect all these powers.
We'll bring you back once the piece is safe. Right? That still works?
I hope so. The piece is broken. Mabar knows. I don't know what it means if the piece is broken. Mabar and I have always had an understanding. I use its shadows use me. None of you have this understanding. Be careful.
Delphine, while you cannot hear this telepathic conversation, there's a lot of other stuff happening that you are aware of. Rayn's body keeps making these movements in there, jagged and ragged. But you also can overhear a conversation in Elvish between the priestess and the armored elf. Can you give me a perception check to see how much of that you catch in the chaos here?
Okay. Yeah, probably nothing. Most likely nothing. Or not much. Where's my character sheet? Perception, you said.
Yes.
3.
Right.
I rolled a 1.
The only thing you catch from it in this mayhem, this unrest that is happening now, you catch in Elvish the word, or the 2 words. You just hear, just destroy it in Elvish. And you remember a conversation from earlier that the Valenar elves want this anchor destroyed.
Remind me. We wanted as a group to collect these pieces so that Aurea is not getting to fill this machine. So we just wanted to have them safe. So in the conclusion, if this thing is destroyed, it will not fall into the hands of Aurea. We don't need to think about keeping it safe. So it's basically solving all of our problems, current problems. Maybe there might be a new piece that gets created, but we don't know.
That is a possibility, yes. But right now, what Delphine would also observe is that this piece was what killed Rayn.
I mean, yes.
And who knows what it might mean if this piece gets destroyed to get Rayn back.
Well, saying in Elvish to the 2 people over there, like, so if we destroy this piece, she has a higher chance of coming back.
The armored elf looks at you as you start speaking Elvish and just says quickly in Elvish, "We will take care of your friend. Just let us continue."
That's not what I asked, but it's okay.
Rayn, you can see basically then and also hear what's happening there. And you also understand Elvish. And you hear this elven woman say this, like, just let us take care of the piece. We will take care of your friend.
Dythun, we need to collect these pieces.
Oh.
We said we'd help with each other's families, didn't we?
Yes, of course.
I'd like to reveal something at this point.
Okay.
When the party was thinking of their memories of Rayn, the rolls that each of you made on a d20 were basically death saving throws.
Oh, fuck.
For every success each of you have, you're basically giving a success to Rayn on a death saving throw.
Okay.
I rolled for Rebus,
Oh, shit.
and I rolled an 11. Rayn, as you say this to Dythun. You feel yourself being pushed closer to Dythun. You feel yourself pushing against what seems like some kind of membrane, some kind of thin barrier. And you feel the laws of nature apply to you, gravity. You feel a breeze on your skin. But at the same time, you look back at the figure that is trying to pull you down, and you hear this voice in your head. It's breaking. Your path is easy, too fast. Delphine also made a roll. Also, with her memories. Delphine, would you like to tell us what you rolled?
13.
It is a second success. Rayn, you're being pushed further against this barrier, further towards your body that is convulsing and moving.
It's too soon.
Dythun, you heard those words that Rayn was giving you telepathically. What do you do with that information?
Did you say that as well?
Just now,
Okay.
I guess.
Dythun's going to step forward and grab Rayn's hand. And then grab the forearm that's holding the piece and place them both back into her chest. And like hold against whatever force is trying to like pick them up and move them. And try to like steady Rayn's body. I think we need to stop this.
Dythun, I'm going to give you a choice at this point.
Uh-huh.
You also rolled a number.
I did.
You can choose now to roll a fresh athletics check against people.
Athletics check?
Against people who will try to stop you from what you're doing. Or you can use the number you rolled earlier. However, that will forsake your contribution to bringing Rayn back.
So wait, I can roll a new athletics check or...
The number that you earlier used?
But if I roll the athletics check, does that number still stand?
It would.
Is that the deal? Okay.
It would. Rolling it is the risk that you fail this check.
I think... I'm trying to like think metagame but not metagame. Because I think in Dythun's mind this needs to not work too well, if that makes sense.
I don't know the metagame solution even as a player.
I know, that's why I'm like, oh no.
We're in uncharted territory.
Yeah. Is there a metagame solution?
I think I'm gonna roll the athletics check and then do the action I want to try to do, and then whatever happens after that is up to whatever happens after that.
Would you like to use your cat vantage on that? You do still have cat vantage.
Thanks.
Thank you, Charlie, and thank you, Gwenora, for handing out the cat vantage.
Okay, so that is a 7 and an 18, plus athletics, which is 20, math 23.
23.
Ooh.
So 23 athletics.
Caro die.
Oh, that was the Caro die that rolled the 18, by the way. Thanks, Caro die.
So you basically want to push down the forearm, right? You're not touching the figure. You want to push down the arm of Rayn.
I'm grabbing Rayn's other hand and like almost holding it for a second while I put it on the chest, and then taking the forearm and then placing it on top, like how it was,
Right.
how she was when
Right.
she was carrying everything before.
The eerie thing about it is, as you do it, like the body of Rayn has the eyes wide open and is almost trying to look at you with empty eyes while you do this, and you push this further down. The priestess is just stepping back as you approach, her hands still glowing, but the armored elf tries to pull you back, but your pose, your posture is just too strong. You're not just pushed back. You pull Rayn's hands down, push the figure close to her chest, which does mean that the number you earlier rolled still stands.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to tell us what you rolled?
I believe it was a 19.
It was a 19 that you rolled. And as you push those hands down, Rayn, you feel breaching through this membrane as if you're tearing through fabric. All of you on the living side of things, you suddenly see this apparition, this ghostly figure of Rayn standing there. What do you do, Ghost Rayn?
I look around in bewilderment. I see their eyes following me.
They can't see you.
What kind of vibe am I reading in this room as Rayn's just kind of like looking also slack-jawed at everyone? Looks at her body, looks at the elves.
From the elves, the priestess, you can now see this figure that you saw in Mabar as well. You see her in living form, and she looks at your ghost form and just both hands raised, like no, in a gesture of no, 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 no. And the armored elf sees you there, has already her sword drawn, and is ready to slash at you if you come closer. What's the vibe from the party at this point?
Do I still feel resistance on Rayn's arms? Or have they stopped trying to, like, fly around?
At the point that Rayn appears in ghost form, there's still some resistance there.
Okay. Then he's gonna just keep holding that. And just kind of look and... he doesn't understand anything.
From Delphine side, it's like definitely a lot of surprise and like as if this is not real or anything. Like, yeah.
At that point, Dythun, you notice that any resistance from the body vanishes. The eyes close, there is no more movement there, and the body just lies still. Rayn, you are still there as a ghost.
I pull up my shield and stand between Rayn and the elf with their sword out.
I'm looking towards the elven priestess. Like, is this supposed to happen?
She just shakes her head.
Can somebody explain what the fuck is happening? Rayn?
Can I be heard audibly, DM?
You can speak. You can actually speak, yeah.
I passed. You can hear me?
There is, as Rayn speaks this from, there's like this echo a little bit in her voice, but you can clearly hear her.
I passed through. I heard you. I heard all of you. And I also look back at the robed elf.
And the robed elf telepathically connects with you, Rayn. I am so sorry. No.
Why are you sorry?
I should have not mixed the rites. I should have not. We were trying to break the figure, but I also wanted to keep you safe.
Oh.
I brought your spirit closer to your body, but the interference must have caused this.
I'll say out loud for everyone to hear. I can re-enter my body and live? Now?
And she goes to no, you're a haunting. Your soul is there, yes, but the connection, it is warped, broken. It needs to be. I am so sorry.
Rayn will look around the room. Takes a look at Rebus. Picks off some dust off their shoulder.
Your hand just goes straight through Rebus.
I look around. Do I still see Delphine clutching a Featherfall token?
No, this is basically has fallen down as Rayn appeared.
I try to pick it up.
Passes right through.
I chuckle at it. Should really use it, you know. I'll head to between where my body is and where Dythun is kind of standing at attention. That look suits you now. I say to Dythun as he's like very tense and defensive.
At this point, by the way, Konda has walked up from a little bit of distance, seeing what's happening, and she's just barking at the elves. She's going like, "You promised to not interfere with this. What is this?" And the armored elf just says like, "We had no other option. The anchor was here. We needed to do something." And Konda just walks up to that elven woman and just decks her in the face. Just decks in her face, looks at the priestess. "You can fix this, can you? I told this people I trust you. I told this people that you would take care of their friend. You can fix this, can't you?" And the priestess just raises her hands like in defense and just shakes her head.
I'll say out loud. So the piece is broken. Am I broken?
The priestess looks at your ghost form and looks at the body. Dythun, are you still like holding on to the body? Are you still?
I've taken, I've raised my shield between
Right.
Rayn and the elves.
Right. The priestess leans over the body, looks at the hands, at the position that you put them back in, and like carefully lifts them. And indeed, like with a diagonal cut, the game piece is cut. And
the chains wrap around her wrists. You will
like around the wrists of the priestess?
Mm-hmm. Just like one of them. You will fix this.
You can hear the priestess in your mind, Dythun.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot hear. cannot bring souls back to bodies here. You need to be at a temple. All I know is that with her ghost here, as long as the ghost stays, and you find someone who can resurrect her, that can bring the body back. That can put the ghost back into the body.
And that was just to me directly, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna yank her away from Rayn. And then I'm going to pick up Rayn. Or her body, at least. Then we're leaving. She said she can't fix it, but somebody else can if you stay close.
Do we have the time? I call out to the elf, but also...
The elf goes to you telepathically, Rayn. You have, as long... Don't be destroyed on this plane as a ghost.
I'll switch to Elven, out loud. And I look at the elf. I'm aware she's from Valenar. Do I have a sense of what she worships, her deity? Do I see familiar religious markings?
Let me quickly check. Are you proficient in either history or religion?
I am proficient in history.
Perfect.
I also had an emblem of my people, which is probably reminiscent of my mother's order.
You would recognize with your proficiency that the robes and garments that she's wearing identify her as a follower of the rites and rituals as they are practiced by the Undying Court, which is not just a faith, that would be too easy, but more philosophy, but also a societal construct that exists in Aerenal, the ancestral home of the Aerenal elves, from which also the Valenar descended. It is quite rare to see someone who is practiced and versed in the rites of the Undying Court outside of Aerenal, as they often, when they are taught these ways of actually using positive energy to bring people back from the dead, they usually stay close to Aerenal to perform important rites and rituals that are important for the people there. But she is quite clearly a member of the Undying Court.
Rayn will walk towards the robed elf. I can sort of understand why you did, considering the opportunity that you have here. I say in Elven to her, out loud. But being punctured, seasoned, bridged by many planes, we need not fear them simply for what they are. Sometimes we cause more harm when we only fear them.
She nods, and she very carefully pries open. No, wait. She can't do that. Dythun picked up the body. Forget that. She just nods and doesn't further respond to it, just looks at you with an immense amount of guilt in her eyes.
Could someone with links to Arian finish what you started? What we had asked for your help with?
She says telepathically. Potentially, if they are versed in resurrection magics.
All right. You owe us.
She just nods again.
I turn around and start walking towards the group, but I dare not touch my body. Like there's this like really longing twitch for Rayn to just even reach out and touch, but she's like she's not sure of what will happen, and she's like she just kind of leans down and looks at the game piece. I think my bar is still there. I say out loud to everyone. I hope it still is.
You sense a certain gravity from the broken pieces of the game pieces as you lean closer.
Would Rayn even... Is this just a pure guess as a character, or is there some mechanical way that she would know what could happen? Is it... do I have a spidey sense that tells me it's dangerous to do so, or should I be inclined to touch it?
All that you get the feeling now, you already tried to touch other material things here.
That I know.
And you pass through them. But you have a feeling that you could hold the game piece. Or the pieces of the game piece.
I nod to Rebus, to Delphine, to Dythun. And I tell them out loud, this can't have been for nothing. I need this piece. I need all these pieces. Not just to stop Arya. To stop something else.
And what is it?
The thing that made me what I am.
And it's at that line that we're going to end today's session with a ghostly Rayn with us, a broken game piece, and the question of where and how to bring back the ghost into its body.
We never incited
Shove it in
them.
there.
They were just like so kind, like yes, we're totally gonna.
Yeah, we never incited them. But can you blame us for it?
What the hell?
Oh.
Props to Marcus, because like as we said at the table, meta-wise, I have no idea what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I usually have an idea, and like okay, we're going to direct the character in a way that's not too purposeful or doesn't like skip the good parts, but.
There was a lot of moving pieces in this one, where I also, as GM, had a lot of unanswered questions for myself. I personally think we had a very interesting ride in this session.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed the conversation that the party had about where to go from here. I am very glad that we're at a point in the campaign where the characters can have these kind of conversations. And also, Caro, thank you for also in character reaching that, bringing that forward. And all of you, thanks for also rolling with these kind of story beats. Because it's not like, I mean, we have a lot of this lighthearted stuff here at the table, but I'm also glad to see that we can roll along with these kinds of stories, and with necessary complications, bring them hopefully to an interesting conclusion. Plus, you actually have a ghost in the party now.
This is a kind of weird, like, experience.
This will be fun.
Do we now change the intro thingy from dead to undead? Or to ghost? Because
Or just add
technically it's undead by now, so...
when Rayn's picture comes up, there's this distant ooh.
It just
I'll get on it for next week. Post it to myself. Edit intro.
I'm sorry.
Ghost sound.
I'm sorry.
Wait, if
Add
if-
on.
if Delphine now smites Rayn, they can add an extra D8 to the smite.
Would she die?
Don't
Look,
do that
let's not try this out. Do not try this at home.
I wasn't the person who brought up this idea, you know?
Then if I'm a ghost, can I haunt them? Can I possess them?
Oh,
Technically-
well.
We have mechanical things to discuss.
We have mechanical things to discuss indeed. Yeah.
Do we now kill each other?
No.
Is there some point? This the campaign ends like, yeah, like Rayn is a ghost, and then we start killing each other.
You know, one thing I've forgotten to mention is that Dythun has one thing he's afraid of, and it's ghosts, and he fights them on sight.
All right. Well, so many things we can
Okay,
start
fine.
finding out next week, but for now, we're slowly winding down here. Thanks everyone who came to watch and chat along with us. If this was your first session to join us on this campaign, thank you very much for joining us here. If you've been watching for a while as well, also thank you very much for being with us. We enjoyed the interaction in chat as well. Thanks for the cat advantages and everything. If you want to catch up with us, you can join us on our Discord, link below, and also follow us on our Twitter, where we usually post when we go live and any kind of other things we're doing. So feel free to give us a follow here on Twitch as well. And if you want to, you can also subscribe. If you maybe have a Prime subscription lying around you're not currently using, we would be glad to take it. If you also joined us only today and you want to catch up on what we did so far, you can find all our VODs and the VODs of all the other games we run on this channel on our YouTube channel. You can find that over on youtube.com/Horde of Tales. Not only do we have a VODs there, but it's also the best place to get your first look at all of the amazing shorts that we have there with some of the highlights of the game, partly created by our very own Ida. And if you are on there on YouTube, please, we can always use a subscription there. We are currently, I think, only 7 people away from reaching the 200 people subscriptions on YouTube. So if you want to help us out, subscribe there, thumbs up, leave comments, and we would be very grateful for that.
We don't have like a weird milestone set up for this one, do we?
No, we don't have like for what you see, the click sound in many YouTube videos to subscribe.
Because I think wasn't it, what number was it? Wasn't that where I started wearing cat ears? Wasn't that when we hit a
100.
certain number on? Yeah, it was like we when we were close to 100, we were like, yeah, if we get 100, I'll still wear cat ears. I don't think we have anything set up for 200, do we?
Well, then we're
So
going to
is
have
this-
something set up for 250 or 3, and we'll get there faster, I hope.
So is this now the
Mhm.
situations where we need to decide what to do if we are reaching 200?
We're gonna look into that. You were here first for hearing that. We're thinking about it. So feel free to join us in reaching that number. So before we head out for today, any kind of announcement we would like to share? Anything that is going on for anyone in the coming week? Ida, would you like to take the floor?
Hi everyone, I'm actually alive. Don't be sad. It's okay. I'm here. Amazing game. I have to really switch gears with the next games I'm going to be in. On Thursday, you can find me at 7 p.m. GMT at Gross Randy's Worlds at an amazing table of drama llamas, where we are in a llama universe. We're all llamas, and we're all llama influencers trying to competing in a reality TV show. I am Miss Congeniality. I want to be your friend, but to stir the pot, I might ugly cry. And last session, I had a glass of water and I absolutely ran my makeup and ugly cried. Speaking of crying, you can also catch us at 7:30 GMT. Also on Girls Running These Worlds on Friday for Alien RPG. We're doing a different kind of crying. A space lobster thing broke its way out of someone's skull. And the best part of one of the best moments of the game was, as characters, we don't know about aliens in the xenomorphs. So someone else was walking along and saw someone else walking too shadow tall, and they communicate this to me, and I'm like, it might be a survivor. Why don't you call out to them? Exactly that face happened. Come join us for that as well.
Well, that is quite the ride on games we can find you in, and both of those on Girls Run These Worlds, right?
Yes. Amazing tables, amazing channels. Check out Girls Run These Worlds for all your amazing goodness.
All right.
When Marcus was doing this, I just got reminded of a certain character that was also a space lobster.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
very multicolored.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot
with
about
Kate
that
Scissors.
somehow.
Which you can also find on our YouTube channel, the VOD of that one shot. Anything else going on with anyone else of you in the coming week?
Not next week, but the week after, so I'm keeping quiet for that now. So
Alright.
it will be amazing. After it could be quite chaotic as well, so... What do I
Right.
know?
Not going to tell too much, because Caro, you should tell that next week. But
Yeah,
just as a hint, keep an eye on our European UK friends over at Manipod Studios. There's a lot of stuff going down there as well, and you might see a familiar face or two there. So keep an eye on our friends over at Manipod Studios. With that being said, I think we need to be not afraid of any ghosts. We don't need any Ghostbusters here. We're
Don't
gonna wind down for today. Are we gonna take a raid somewhere before I just turn us off? That would be rude.
We can rate someone if anyone has a suggestion. Looking at you, chat.
We could take it easy. Fae Earth was running earlier, but I don't see them online anymore. It's a shame.
So
I was
then they
gonna
are
go for them.
probably off right now. I mean, we had a quite long session today, so
Okay.
actually,
All
longer
right.
than normally.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone in chat, for being active. It really means a lot to me. To us. I mean, to you, but us.
To
means a lot.
all of us, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad. For those that stuck around for the living party members' feelings on the situation, I was there with you as an audience member, and I got the feels, and I was like, thank God I don't have my camera on, because I can now touch up my makeup.
All right then. Thanks everyone for today. We're gonna be back same time, same place next week to continue this adventure. Thanks for coming along. Take care, and see you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.